Okay, I'm sitting here inside the Charles Schwab studio, and I didn't think my job was to sit here and be insulted on my own show inside the Charles Schwab studio, because Tony Catalina, gig him 247 every Wednesday. And you know what he says to me? Did you watch Game of Thrones? And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you serious? I did a Game of Thrones podcast for a while.
Oh, wow.
With the legendary Audrey Rose.
No way.
The last appointment television in a world that there's no such thing anymore was Game of Thrones. Every Sunday, throw the phone out the window, tell people to shut the heck up and get out of my house. You know? Oh, no. Did I watch Game of Thrones?
I only say that because it's fresh on mine. I just finished it for the first time, like 4 months ago.
No. That can't be true.
It is.
What were you doing at that time period in your life?
Anything but that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And my wife got hooked on it, so she made me watch it. Her second watch through was my first watch through. So she was watching me more in my reaction to, like, you know, the Red Wedding and things of that nature, because she wanted to see how I reacted to it. But we had a work-related thing that I had a segment that I brought into Game of Thrones kind of feeling, and that's kind of what started the conversation for those that think we're talking about Game of Thrones on a random Wednesday, but I digress.
You never digress. On the Louie Bellina show, we kind of... I'm sorry, we just talk about everything. Yeah. That's how it works. I mean, we talk about life, and we talk about Aggie football and buckyball there. We just kind of talk. And again, Game of Thrones is... I know the last 2 seasons have tainted people, but first 4 seasons is 4 of the greatest seasons ever in the history of TV. Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Sopranos.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
You got it.
You could put more close to it, but in that zip code, that's a big ask.
That's where I'm at. I think you nailed it. And for me to nail it exactly, I don't know how much variance there is there. I think those are the 3, and you might have hit the big 3 there.
Yeah. I know some people, older school, would say The Wire, but since I never watched it, I can't do that. But when people say, well, what about The Wire? I go, okay, you can have it.
Fair.
I'm not going to fight you.
The Wire is, I mean, if you're talking about that 4th spot, for me, it's probably in that 4th, 5th spot. So, I have no complaints with that conversation.
Fair enough. Tony Catalina joins me every Wednesday, and I've been doing disclaimers all day because it's the weirdest Wednesday ever. Studio 12 Live is no more. And Wednesday, Fridays at 1 for 14 years. We had Studio 12 Live. Matt, Will, and then Andrew Monaco jumped in when he just came to Texas A&M. And I thank them for all the hard work, all the time, everything they did. Great ride. Well, this is the first Wednesday without Studio 12 Live. Louie Bellina show goes to 2 o'clock now. And Tony Catalina, he called me and said, hey, I demand a full hour. And I'm like, whoa, relax. And he was just like throwing stuff. And I'm like, of course you can go for a full hour. So this is going to be our first Wednesday of an hour. Nah, we got Astros baseball 12:40 thanks to Kelly Bertdozer. So moving forward, Tony's going to be with me the entire lunch hour each Wednesday. I really appreciate Tony. You know, he's like, if you need me. All right. So that's pretty awesome. And I do want to start off, Tony, by saying thank you for taking Fridays.
Of course.
Because every Friday in July, you and Caleb, you guys, and you book some guests. And I know this. You had a great time.
I had an awesome time. That's something I've told you before. I got into this from the podcast side. I got into this from the just, talking. The writing came after. For me, it was more so being in front of a microphone. So getting a chance to kind of scratch that itch and be able to do that, I know it helped you out. It gave something on Friday, but it gave me a purpose on Friday as well, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You just had a great... I said before, like, I'm not some radio expert, and there's a million people right now going, no, really. Have fun. People have fun with you. Mm-hmm. And I think you get that, even if it's not consciously, that it's obvious you have fun on the A&M beat. It's obviously you have fun doing sports. Yeah. It's obviously you're at a point in your life where everything you're doing from Gig'em 247 to Wednesdays you're just having fun. Yeah. And people have fun with you.
No, I'm glad you said that, because to me, I always think about it. I try to refocus. I'm very cognizant of time and how it passes, and I try to live in the moment as much as I can. Like, I live by it's a simple statement, and it's actually like a lyric to a song, but it was like, when I stop having fun with it, that's when I'll be done with it. And to me, that's how I've lived, and I'm just getting started. So for me, all of this is great. I try to say yes to everything, and I try to say no to nothing. And so for me, it's one of those things where, like, there's so many other things I could be doing, but I'd rather be doing this. So I'm glad.
So yesterday, we had the fall camp kickoff press conference. I don't think that was the official title, but if I was labeling it, State of the Union address.
Yeah.
Mike Elko. And then we had the Aggie football players, Dalton Brooks, tight end, Micah
Riley.
And then we also had Mark Naboo. Give me 3 things you walked away with at the end of the day.
Simple, just right off the bat, is we get the second time we get to talk to Mike O'Reilly. And as far as a captain, a leader, somebody who represents the organization, the program, like, they nailed it. Like, 2 times talking to that kid, he just gets it. He says the right things. He understands how to communicate. He just absolutely conveys the message to a T of what they want.
He's a great speaker.
Absolutely.
And when he speaks, you're looking forward to what he has to say.
For sure. And so, not to discredit anything he's done and the hard work he got to this point, but you look at some of the guys who have made captains, like, they got skin on the wall as far as production and talent and all of that, and you say, okay, Micah doesn't kind of fit in that box based off of what he did last year. He mentioned he was injured and he had a labrum surgery. But then you say, man, the impact he must have in that room is so massive that this team,
they brought him out.
They brought him out. And he's going to be like, whenever it was a tough day or a tough conversation, they always brought Torian York out. I think is going to be Mike O'Reilly. And then on that second note, they could also do that with Marcus Radcliffe and be just fine too. They got 2 really good guys or really good representations of the program. So that was my first takeaway. The second one for me was as many softballs as he was given yesterday to say, like, we've arrived, or things are easy, or things are just,
Oh,
man.
That word choice, I don't want to say triggered, because I don't think it was that level. But that was the wrong word choice around Elko was the word easy.
And to me, it was just like the first time here in town, because we've spoke to him in Houston, we spoke to him in different various coaches' nights, and then SEC Media Day. He's made it very crystal clear that, last year was great, but we ain't done jack yet, right? And he's very steadfast in that opinion that they think that they're just scratching the surface. And I think a lot of his answers and a lot of his pauses and smirks and just before he gave answers yesterday was a telltale sign of a guy who's not yet quite satisfied with what they've got going on.
Here was the vibe I got. And you know that whenever we talk, you're 100% free to disagree, correct me, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
I felt like he has spent 8 months taking every second at every moment to destroy any signs of complacency, anything that creeped into the program to stop, well, A, complacency, and B, just get in the way of progress. And when he hears something like that, that was like the fear realized. That's the one thing that can destroy everything, stops progress, puts them 2 steps behind from last year's anyone that believes the word easy in his program, whether it's the trainer or a player, an SID, anyone that buys into that. And that's what he's scared to death of.
Right.
Now, they're so far into the offseason, actually, he knows if anyone's bought into it. That's not something that'll crop up in fall camp, right?
No.
So that's the word that is anti everything he's doing.
Right, and 100%. You hit the nail on the head. I have nothing to disagree with that. For him, it's very clear to the point where they haven't doubled down on success, like he said. That was his word, where, like, we've had good years in the past. This program has done good things, but they haven't been able to parlay that into something bigger, into something more sustainable. He thinks, and that's why we said it all off season, this year 3 is arguably the more important. He said it was the most challenging year coming for them because of those things.
People are not going to be hunting them.
Yes.
People are going to be expecting them.
Absolutely.
And there's expectation placed on them.
Yes. You win 11 games. You host a college football playoff game. This year, that's the standard now, right? People expect. You're supposed to be in the college football playoff conversation. I mean, coaches poll came out yesterday. They're at 8. Some people think they're too high. Some people are having conversations about where they land. It doesn't matter. That's what the national scene thinks of them, right? And all of that talk is for not now, right? They teed up today. Yesterday was the press conference, and he even said in that answer when he got asked about easy was, this is my message to the guys tonight at our meeting. Like, none of this is going to be easy. This is going to be the hardest schedule that we've had. This is going to be the hardest test we got. And a lot of people are expecting us to not be at our best, so this is why we have to, and this is how we do it.
What was your third thing?
The third thing to me was just the camaraderie I got from that group, right? Mark Naboo talked about the hunting, and Mike O'Reilly talked about Houston Thomas came in and bought right into the tight end room and brought everybody and showed them all the good food spots in College Station because he's a local kid. Like, they have a nucleus, they have a culture, and I think that's some of the reason beyond just the football stuff and we're going to have weeks and months and months to talk about the football and the X's and O's stuff with it. But the 3 things that came out to me was just a culture building, and I think that is where maybe Mike Elko has kind of nailed it the most, right? This is a team where the leadership council is full of guys who get it. They're captains that get it. They're saying the right things. They're doing the right things. And we had talked about, winning the press conference doesn't mean a thing, but you just feel good about the message because it's not just words. It feels like this is honest to God how they feel.
You don't feel like you're getting the thing that is the T-shirt of the year. When you get these made up, the coach decided, the coach enforced it, we're going to row the boat, we're going to throw anchors, play like a champion today. You don't feel like you're getting the T-shirt printed versions of things.
Not at all. And I think what Mike O'Reilly said, and we talked about at the beginning, is he said so clearly, like, I'm here to essentially serve what Marcel Reed needs. He was talking about specific routes. He's like, if I'm doing a 10-yard in count and you need me to get to 12, I'm going to get to 12. It may not be what I've been taught or what I'm doing, but it's what my quarterback wants. You need me to block? You need me to earn opportunities? He's just a leader in every sense of the term, and I don't think he's the only one that feels that way, right? You got Dalton Brooks, who is more of an action before words guy. Marcel understands what his prism is and what his world looks like and how much that's changed over the last year or two. And then you got just guys like Mark Naboo, who's like, hey, everyone's brand new. I'm the only guy here, but everyone gets it. And they all understand that there's some veteran pieces. We all want to be a piece of it. So, yeah, A&M is going to fight for every top recruit, but I think they really value the cultural fit in that locker room more than a lot of people realize.
Tony Catalina, Gig'em 247, inside the Charles Schwab studio. It's the Louie Bellina Show on a Wednesday. You mentioned already A&M preseason coaches poll. A value of that is 0.00.
None.
It's for entertainment purposes only. At 8, too high, too low, just right.
I am okay with where they're at, but I thought that they would be lower in the initial one. I thought they would
lower as in 12 or lower as in 6?
Lower as in like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they would come in just on the fringe of a CFP team. I think 8 is a more sign to me that all this offseason fodder, right? Because if you would listen to anybody that was outside of this area, they'd tell you Marcel Reed was this, and the offense lost that, and they got to replace this, and they're going to struggle because of this contract. I think, again, we put very little bit of stock into this because of what it is, but I think the national perception is more of a positive sign about this team than maybe some people in Austin might tell you.
It's interesting. I always take the 2 in front and behind of any unit, position, coach, preseason ranking of anything at any time.
Yeah.
And that's how I come up with my version of too high, too low, or whatever. So A&M at 8, right behind them is Oklahoma at 9, Ole Miss at 10. I don't have to move either team in front of A&M. If either team would have started, I wouldn't have to move A&M in front of them either.
Sure.
That's kind of a group push. 11 is Bama. I wouldn't put Bama in front of A&M.
Nope.
And like the only team, and this fascinates me, I told you too, Texas Tech at 12. I put Texas Tech in front of A&M. And before everyone starts throwing things at me, be careful. They play in the Big 12. I think the only team that could beat them is BYU. And the only reason Texas Tech is not in the top 5 is the quarterback. Right. And even Will Hammond, who won't even start in the first month, they're still only a 1-loss team. They just have a baked-in. Take a look. They have one of the easiest schedules in the country.
Right.
By all their top 10 easiest by ranking. They have a built-in success rate.
Sure.
This isn't about which team is better on paper. It's looking at the season.
You're right.
So I'm not saying Texas Tech is better than A&M, but from a ranking standpoint, they're kind of 10 wins men. Reality is they'll be 11 if they lose to BYU.
Right.
That's it.
And I'm with you. I thought, and the reason why I had them in that potentially 10, 11-ish range is because although I think A&M is better than Oklahoma, and I think that A&M has qualities that are better than Ole Miss, I didn't know if the national perception would agree with me. The fact that they did and the coaches did is a little bit of validation that, what you see is maybe real. Like, because you have this perception, you wonder sometimes, you take a step back and be like, am I too close to this? I want to get an opposing opinion. And then you step back and you're like, oh, wait, maybe that's too far away from what I was thinking. So, no, I mean, that's why I had my reservations. But 8, there's a world, you just talked about it, where 8 makes sense. 8 sounds about right. And if you're going to split hairs,
8, 9, 10 all feel the same.
That's it. I mean, and you know what? It's great. It's a good starting point. It's a conversation point. But what they do week 1 and moving forward is ultimately what matters most.
Ole Miss is this fascinating wild card of a team. They have one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country. They have one of the top 2, no worse than 3 running back rooms in the country. Mm-hmm. Their head coach is their DC, and he went out in the portal and got 8 fairly top-end defensive players to shore up what he wanted. They could be anything. Right. They are a wild card team.
And I don't know if you have it in front of you, where'd they put LSU? Just out of curiosity.
LSU, finally something a little more realistic.
Yeah.
And 13.
Okay. That's fair.
They turned over 47, 48 players.
Yeah.
But Kiffin's used to it. It's what he did at Ole Miss. So for him, getting a lot of new players is not necessarily a concern.
Yeah.
He's used to it. They're high end. They had one of the top 3 portal classes, but and for a lot of coaches, having that many new, there's no way they could put it together in a year, but it's old hat to him.
Right.
But they also have a tough schedule, blah, blah, blah. The ones that I kept seeing putting LSU at like 6 or 7, I thought that was insane. 13? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I thought just if you're talking about off-season talking points, you would have think Lane Kiffin's greatest coach of all time. They put together the greatest transfer portal you've ever seen, and here we go, national championship contenders, which, hey, you know what? They got to spot the ball, and maybe it comes true. But it's interesting, and I'm glad to see, because you figure Ole Miss, like you mentioned, they have a lot of pieces, a lot of talent, but they got a first-year head coach. And so you wonder how much that got, affected the outcome of where they'd end up. But then you see, the course correction of LSU at 13, where you feel like they got a lot of talent. They got Lane Kiffin, who's an offensive guru in a lot of senses. And it's like, okay, maybe this list isn't as absurd as you first take a look at it. And if that is also true, then the second part of that is A&M is a quality group as well.
Pick 6 previews does it for living analytics.
Yeah.
Marcel Reed, 12. Wide receiver room, 4. Secondary, 6. D-line is like 14 in the country. Even with the questions, they've just got some nationally ranked units. They have so many strengths. It's just they also have glaring questions, too.
Yeah, it's funny because you talk about it. The O-line's going to be brand new. The running back room's going to be brand new. The tight end room is going to be brand new. What is all that going to look like? But at the same vein, Elko says this might be the best secondary he's ever seen while he's been here. You look at if Damian Sanford's healthy in potentially week 1, which that was a development yesterday.
I want to talk about that.
Sure.
I didn't quite take it that way.
Sure.
I really didn't.
And he leaves a room for the interpretation there, which I can understand. But if the linebacker room and he's healthy, then now you got a quality with Ray Coney. But you talk about secondary maybe the best, and then you talk about some of these other places where wide receiver may be the best they've had in a long time. You're talking about some of the best in program history. How is this talent and this team not going to come together and at least be a polarizing, team every week? So that's kind of how I view it, and I think some of the fodder is a little out of control from this offseason.
No, it's off-season talk, man.
Right, and it's
off-season,
over.
Everything gets talked and talked to death.
Yes.
There's nothing else to talk about.
And it worked on me because I'm absolutely fatigued by it.
We'll be right back. And it worked on me. That's the best part of it all. And it worked on me. It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. It's the Louie Bellina Show. Tony Catalina each and every Wednesday, lunchtime. Which it's actually, we do lunch more than Wednesday. We have lunch every day. Monday through Friday, noon to 1. Lunchtime on the Louie Bellina Show is thank you to Rudy's Barbecue.
The Money Machine is open now. Two ways to enter each week.
Oh, come on. Don't keep us in suspense.
Zone1150.com and the Zone newsletter.
Thank you.
The Louie Bellina Show, inside the Charles Schwab studio, hanging out with Tony Catalina. He's with Gig'em 247. Wednesdays, he's with the Louie Bellina Show. Low-cost, full-service, best of all local. Come on, you should know by now. That's Mark Sim. He's our local. And I mean right here, Bryan College Station. That's all he cares about. He lives here, eats here, sleeps here. And with local, you walk through the door, sit down, have a conversation, look them in the eye, shake a hand. And if we're talking about our financial now and our financial future, how else would you want to do business? Come on now. Look them up online. Schwab.com/College Station. Tony Catalina with us. Hey. You can text me Monday through Friday, anytime you want. With Tony here, text Tony, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150. You can light up the inbox by hitting send. If you don't hit send, I'll never see it. 979-693-1150. Hey, I had a question off of the Maroon and White beat. Would you take Mark Cuban as the Dallas Cowboys owner?
Honestly, genuinely, I don't know how it could be worse. So, yes.
Oh, wow.
Like
that's the way you would approach the Mark Cuban era?
Honestly. I mean, because I understand what Jerry Jones has done. If you really take a step away from it, I understand what he's done for the league. I understand what he's done from a marketing standpoint. But for the last 30 years, all I know is disappointment and an underachievement. So, and a lot of that felt like it was because him and his family didn't go the extra mile or did what they... Like, one year they'd have the best offense and the defense was putrid, or vice versa, and they didn't capitalize on Romo. They didn't capitalize on Dak Prescott. There's so many... I can go for hours on this. But the problem is, it's just... Anybody who thinks they're above approach and they're above, being criticized is just not somebody I want to hitch my wagon to. So for Jerry Jones to be the general manager, the owner, can't fire himself, and, it's not a good business model. I need some humility in that spot. It'll never happen. It's going to be passed down But to answer your question, yes, I would be interested.
It came up because Jerry Jones, I think he was asked about it.
Oh, yeah. Private equity.
Yeah, and he said he was open. Come on, that's being polite. He was open to Mark Cuban as a Cowboys co-owner. He can't go. But he's not looking for new investors, so it's not going to happen.
Sure.
But that was the answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, open, no chance.
Yeah.
Co-owner, no such thing. Like he can share. But in the end, he's not looking for new investors.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's just, dipping. I mean, I think in the world right now where some of this stuff is happening, right? And there's some private equity involved and just how much more money can you make? Because I feel like he's milked that NFL cow as much as he could, right? Like, what is the next level of untapping just, And Mark Cuban actually said it one time. I think his quote was like, what, greedy pigs get slaughtered? And he was talking about the NFL. So it's just, we're in an interesting time as far as sports and salary caps, and we see it in baseball. So
doesn't Mark Cuban already have his own football team? It's called the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah, I think he did all right last year, which, hey, maybe I want him even more if he can build that program into a champion. So, and Cubes, what's up?
Yeah, he's, he might not, a fascinating thought. I got another sports question.
Sure.
Should you be bunting in the ninth inning of a perfect game?
Ooh, I hate it. Go and get it. Go and get it. I understand the pettiness of it. I don't love it though. Go and. So what? Let's say the score's 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. If it's close, if it's competitive, and you can make a rally in the ninth.
So 1-0 game.
Oh yeah, then you can bunt.
Okay. Sunday, did you catch that?
No.
Guardians Diamondbacks game, bunting in the ninth inning.
1-0?
And bench is cleared. I didn't. You know what? I never looked it up because I don't want that in my head.
Sure.
But
If
there
it's
was
close?
there was a bunt in a perfect game, and bench is cleared. Now, ended up getting a clean single, and then a rain. And when the rain delay came in, oh man, they're basically trying to have a brawl as they're putting the tarp on the field.
See, that's the stuff that would interest me. I'm upset that I missed that. But close competitive game, all bets are off. If it's 9-0, 10-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and you go one more out to go, don't slap a bunt down. That's ridiculous.
So you go with the situational answer.
Yeah, I think if you're still trying to win the game, like go win the game, try to win the game. But if it's 9-0, 10-0, and it's a 1-2 count, like let's not try to slap a bunt down. I don't know.
You always have the universal answer: stop them. Like
Fair.
everybody should be allowed to do everything.
Sure.
If you don't want them to bunt, be prepared to stop the
Yeah.
bunt. Blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
I know people that don't believe in unwritten rules.
Yeah.
Like if it's not written, it's not a rule. Dot dot dot. Being an OG, old school kind of sports guy, we know there's I am.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as unwritten rules, but
Yeah.
how do we know if the circle starts there?
Well, that's how you get a fastball to the ear hole.
There you go. That's how you wear the ball.
That's it. I mean, we talk about a sport that's built on unwritten rules, right? There's certain things you just can't do. So yeah, do it at your own peril, I suppose.
Yes, not supposed. That's a fact. It's true. Back to Aggie football for just a moment, because these kind of off-season questions are quickly becoming irrelevant since the new data points are coming in. What would you say is the X factor for A&M football 2026?
I'll give you two, because one of them is like the low-hanging fruit. One of them is Marcel Reed, right? Like if he can limit the volatility of being, because at his highest, he was a guy who was on the cusp of being a Heisman Trophy finalist. At his worst, it looks like the first half of South Carolina and he's seeing ghosts. So correct the volatility. He's the X factor in the sense if he finds middle ground and he finds, upper to what he's capable of. If he's on the higher echelon of that, they're going to be totally fine. The other X factor in this to me is the pass rush. And I would have to say like Anto Saka. Right, you're not going to get a guy like Cassius Howe, right? You're not going to get a unanimous All-American, 1 year he's going to end up with 13 sacks. But can you find a guy like Ansu Saka that can give you 7 or 8? Can you find a TJ Searcy to get you 3 or 4? Can Ryan Henderson give you 3 or 4? There's got to be a more collective group to try to figure out the pass rush, because when you talk about a Mike Elko defense, if 4 guys can get home, it makes everything on the back end so much easier. So find me a pass rush, find me an Anto Saka.
ESPN.com, they always do all summer long, like each top 25 team X and then Y, right?
Sure.
And they did X Factor. It's the last thing I think they're almost going to do for each team. For A&M, they said D-line, which ties in directly to what you said.
Yep.
Because with D-line, it starts with who's next up
right.
to be a first or second round NFL edge rusher
right.
for A&M. That's what you said. They just said D-line, and that's really it starts with. If you don't have an edge rusher, I don't care how good you are against the run. They'll never have to run.
You got to get home, right? You got to get home.
That's step one.
Step one.
And you can do that through scheme. You can do. There's a million ways
And
to
Elko-
equal chaos rate, confusion, million things.
And Elko's great at that. Like he even said last year, like
he's not calling plays this year, isn't it, Hemphill? Do we know? Okay, let me ask you. Do we know? Because we know in year 1 it was actually Bateman, and that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Year 2, Elko took over play calling. Hemphill's the DC, but who's calling plays on game day?
from my tea leaves, and again, this is just my opinion from trying to dig, I think it's going to be Elko's show. And that Hempfield's going to have a flavor on it, and he's going to have his voice in it. But ultimately, I think it's still Elko's unit.
Okay.
You know? Because when I asked Marcus Ratcliffe, I actually asked him at SEC Media Days, I'm like, how...
You asked Elko?
I asked Marcus Ratcliffe. I said, how unique is the secondary? Are you going to mix up coverages? I asked Dalton Brooks yesterday, like, how much is Hemphill going to influence what you guys do on the back end? Because he's a secondary guy. He came from James Madison. He's a guy that's where he's made his bones. But they're all said quickly, like, ultimately, this is still Elko's show, right? Like, Ratcliffe kind of ended like, yeah, he'll have some touch and he'll have some feel to it, but ultimately, this is Elko's show. And so I got the sense that, and when we've asked, they've been non-committal, right? They kind of been non-committal about exactly what it's going to shake out.
Which usually tells you what's going on, actually.
Right.
By not answering, you kind of can guess.
Sure.
Because if the answer was simple, you answer.
The journalist in me won't let you give this is bang, right? That's it. I can't. But what I can tell you is from what I hear, what I see, what I know, what I think it's going to be Elko's show.
That's okay. And again, I know for me, and I always say things are simple, humans make them complicated.
Yeah.
And in a storyline like this, if you can't say, I think we know.
Right. Because it's just, yes. I think he's going to want control of at least one unit, especially with a first-time play call on the other side.
Again, two first-time play callers, right?
Yes.
Neither one's been a coordinator before?
For sure.
So if he handles one, he knows one. And he trusts Hemphill. He brought him with him from second stop. He wouldn't have brought him to this one. So maybe it's something that next year the plan, you know how it is.
Yeah, and
there's a plan for it.
Hemphill's a well-respected coach. Like, this is a guy who understands it completely. Like, he gets it. But, you know, when you come into a defensive-minded head coach, I think he's going to want his taste on it.
We'll take one final timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. Tony Catalina, Gig'em 247 inside the Charles Schwab studio on a Wednesday. This is the Louie Molina Show on The Zone.
Listen to The Zone on the Zone app. Thanks to Loyalty Plumbing. The pros at Loyalty Plumbing are ready to serve you 24/7. For big emergencies or small.